At the biggest high school football game in Arkansas, a fight and loud bangs send a scare across War Memorial Stadium. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Littman. Fans at the annual Salt Bowl game scrambled for the exits early in the third quarter. Reports of a gun and popping noises followed a fight in the stands, which was filled with a record number of fans. The game between Benton and Bryant has been canceled. Our Dorian Kraft and Michael Aaron saw it all unfold and join us live with the latest on the situation right now.
If you have lost car keys and you can hear my voice around the stadium.
Well, David, just a very scary situation here at War Memorial Stadium about an hour ago as those reports of gunshots came in. Also, a stampede of sorts in the end zone here. Dorian, you were here for all of that just before 9 o'clock in the third quarter, fourth quarter?
Third quarter, so it was about 9:44 left in the third quarter. I was actually down on the far sideline on the Benton side of the field. Bryant had just scored a touchdown, and I looked up in the stands, and there was a wave of people running, and I didn't see anything, and I thought it was a joke almost. I thought it was, you have rival students, and it almost looked, because it was students running. They started from the student section and ran across, so it almost looked like students were playing a prank, and then I look out to the field, and the Bryant team is huddled underneath the wall. They are panicking, they're clearing the field, and it looks like right now we are almost about ready to go to a press conference.
From Park Rangers, we're going to hear from State Police Officer Jason Perry he's a Park Ranger, going to address the media right now. So we're going to turn our attention to him as we speak.
Okay, folks, good evening. My name is Jason Perry. I'm a Park Ranger with Arkansas State Parks. Tonight, a little after 9 o'clock, we had a scare here in the stadium during the Salt Bowl game. And our Park Rangers went ahead and followed protocol and began evacuating the stadium. Okay. Once we had the stadium secured and knew that it was safe, then we began the process of reuniting families with lost ones, because there's a lot of folks that kind of scattered during the scare. We began that process, which is ongoing and just about to be wrapped up. I believe there was just a few outstanding at last notice. At some point, both schools decided to go ahead and cancel the game. For the safety of the fans and the people involved, they decided to go ahead and cancel the game. So the game was canceled, and we went ahead and began evacuating the rest of the stadium. Okay. At that point, there were a few injuries. Most of them were heat-related, unrelated to the scare. And so medical staff was right on the spot and was able to attend to all of the injuries and evacuate them as necessary and treat them as necessary. We want to thank Little Rock Police Department and the Benton PD, Pulaski County Sheriff's Department, who all acted admirably during this scare. Everybody was professional and did what was needed to be done. The medical staff that was on board also was there on the spot, ready to act and treated patients accordingly. The stadium security did their job as well. Everybody kind of acted together as a team to evacuate the stadium and secure the stadium, make sure it was safe, tend to the families, tend to the injured. Okay, and we've pretty much wrapped that up. If you have any further questions, if you need more information, you can contact the Arkansas State Parks Director's Office. That number is 501-682-7743.
And as you guys have
Thank you very much. And that's Park Ranger Jason Perry. He tells us tonight that families are still working to be reunited after this scare here at War Memorial Stadium. And again, thanking the coordinated response from law enforcement from both Pulaski and Saline County. Now, we do know again that the injuries were from heat related. We also did see some people with splints on their ankles on the field after that stampede of sorts. No word on how serious the injuries are tonight, but of course something that we're going to stay on top of for you as this scary situation unfolded here at War Memorial Stadium. Little Rock Police confirming no shots fired, so certainly good news there, Dorian.
It is certainly good news, but people here certainly believed that gunshots were the case. People fled. They didn't know exactly what was going on. Multiple people came up to me and asked me what was going on. I repeated what I had heard was that a police officer told me that they had a report of a gun and to get to a safe place to let your friends and family know that you were okay. They cleared the stadium, and once they made sure it was okay and safe for fans to re-enter, they did start and come back to have fans. They were going to replay this game until they ultimately decided that it was unsafe.
And we are going to hear from Shane Broadway from the Salt Bowl right now.
On behalf of the Salt Bowl Committee, I want to thank the War Memorial Stadium staff, the Arkansas Department of Parks and Tourism, Little Rock PD, Pulaski County Sheriff's Office, Bryant and Benton PD, all who have been here. Were here during the incident tonight. We will continue to work with everyone throughout the investigation because our goal is to find out what happened. Because we want to know for our parents, for our students, and for our players exactly what happened here tonight. And the main thing is we don't want the incident that occurred tonight to overshadow the good that happened here tonight. There were 38,215 fans enjoying a heck of a football game, a great tailgate party. We raised a record amount of peanut butter to help the people in our communities. And I know that what happened tonight may overshadow some of that, but I wanted to say something on behalf of our committee and both of our school districts that a lot of good did happen here tonight. And we're going to get to the bottom of what did occur that caused this incident, because at the end of the day, whoever caused it needs to be brought to justice, because kids lost tonight. Kids who worked their butts off all summer long to play in a football game that means a lot to both of these communities. Whoever started this incident, for whatever reason, impacted a lot of kids and a great night that they were having tonight. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your cooperation and help. And we'll, as soon as we know more information, obviously, we want to share that with you. Thanks.
Will you be issuing an official statement once you...
All right, Shane Broadway with the Salt Bowl committee there. David, we're going to send it back to you. We're going to keep gathering information, bring you the latest tomorrow and on THV11.com. Back to you.
A huge crowd and great football game overwhelmed by the fear of gunfire at War Memorial Stadium. Dorian and Michael are back with us again live from the stadium for the latest from the Salt Bowl.
Hey, David, and you're right. You know, the fear of gunshots really overshadowed what was turning out to be a fantastic Salt Bowl, not just the game itself, but the atmosphere. Michael and I were out here before with the tailgaters. Everyone was really excited. This was a record crowd. They raised a record number of peanut butter. All in all, it was a great night until this happened.
We're talking about 38,000 people here tonight, and we heard from Shane Broadway. He's on the committee for the Salt Bowl. He said really everyone, all of the kids here lost tonight. You know, Bryant was up, but this was a loss for all the kids, something that we certainly haven't seen in the history of the Salt Bowl and really here at War Memorial Stadium, to our knowledge, Dorian. Just a very terrifying situation as we see people running from the stadium, running from the stands onto the field, and some people even injured as a result of that. Thankfully, no gunshots fired here tonight, according to LRPD, but the game was canceled, as we know.
Right. The game was canceled right now. We still don't have any additional information about when or even if they will replay the Salt Bowl. And as you can see, the game was exciting. As you can see behind us, the Arkansas Park Rangers, thank you, Michael. They are currently sweeping the stands just to ensure that this is a safe location, that nothing else is going on. But, you know, people here, not only was there an initial stampede when they first heard that there might be gunshots, but then there was a second wave. People just really not a lack of communication, but so much going on. And it was so loud that the people couldn't even make an announcement.
And we know that there's a scene still unfolding outside, people trying to reunite with their families.
Right, and people didn't know if it was unsafe to leave, to stay. They didn't know where to go. A lot of people just ducking along the sidelines for cover, you know, trying to call out, but the phone lines were jammed. It's a very scary situation.
And, you know, I just spoke with a former Benton football player who graduated about 5 years ago or so. He injured his wrist a little bit as he tried to jump a fence. Just speaks to the chaos involved in this situation. So, again, an investigation ongoing. We do know that several people were injured. We're going to work to learn how many people, how severe their injuries are, and we're going to keep you updated on THV11.com and in our newscast tomorrow at 5:30 and 10 p.m. But just an unfortunate scene here tonight, and again, one that we'll stay on top of.
Unfortunate scene, unfortunate situation. Most important thing, nobody was hurt, no gunshots, everyone is safe. So THV 11 News will be back after the break.
There are plenty of questions after panic at the biggest high school football game in the state last night in Little Rock. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Littman. More than 38,000 fans set an attendance record at the Salt Bowl last night. Now officials from the state, local police, and the Benton and Bryant school districts are trying to figure out how a fight in the concourse and a person with a stun gun sent thousands scrambling. The fight started during the third quarter, with the Hornets holding a 28-14 lead. In the melee, someone pulled out a stun gun and pulled the trigger. From there, word spread quickly and the rush began. The scramble led to a handful of injuries, mostly heat-related, with a couple of injuries reported due to the stampede for the exits. After conferring on the field, officials called off the rest of the game. But by rule, Bryant gets the victory. And we have team coverage for you tonight. Vanessa Page is back from Saline County with a look at how the two cities and school districts are reacting. But first, our Michael Aaron has the latest on the investigation so far. Michael?
Well, David, park rangers, police, and sheriff's deputies are investigating this incident that sent terror through War Memorial Stadium last night, and officials here at the stadium are calling this all a misunderstanding of sound. A night of football takes a sudden turn toward chaos, as unfounded reports of an active shooter during the third quarter of Saturday's Salt Bowl sends the crowd of 38,000 into a panic.
Well, this is probably one of the scariest moments of my life.
I tried to calm down 2 or 3, kids that were terrified.
People were yelling, he's got a gun, there's a shooter.
This was a misunderstanding of sound. There were sounds that sounded like gunfire, but they weren't.
Meg Matthews, public information coordinator for Arkansas State Park, says during the third quarter, an altercation broke out in the concourse. At that point, park rangers say someone attending the game dry fired a stun gun. While no one was hit, they believe the sound may have been confused for gunshots, sending panic through the stadium.
As people were running out, they knocked over 3 metal barricades. Unfortunately, those metal barricades also had the sound of gunfire.
Amid the chaos, park rangers got a hold of the stun gun. The game ultimately called off. Authorities worked to reunite families separated during the stampede. Medics treated several people for leg and ankle injuries, along with heat exhaustion. While many agree this could have had a much different ending, stadium security is still being called into question, and Matthews says the state will review its procedures.
We did check people's bags last night. We did warn people if we found something in their pocket that was suspect. We found that our protocol was very successful last night.
It was turmoil and chaos, but we're still going to be Saline County strong.
Those involved in the incident still have not been identified. We're told that investigators are reviewing stadium surveillance video, and those involved in that initial incident could be charged criminally. Meanwhile, anyone who misplaced belongings during all of the chaos can come here to the stadium office tomorrow from 8 to 4:30 to retrieve those items. Live at War Memorial tonight, Michael Aaron, THV 11 News.
And Michael, thank you. And well, so many people from Saline County went to the game last night. That means they're all reacting to what happened today. And our Vanessa Page has a sampling of that for us now. Vanessa.
Fans from both sides of the game I spoke to today still seem really shaken up. A woman who is pregnant tells me that this may be the last time she goes to the Salt Bowl. Rachel Price says she goes to the Salt Bowl every single year and is a Bryant High School grad. She was Facebook Living the game on her cell phone when she says she heard someone yell they have a gun. Because she's pregnant, she immediately thought of her baby's safety. Her husband says his first instinct was to protect his wife.
Get down in the bleachers, lay down, and so I laid down under the bleachers, got my belly as close to the concrete as I could to protect it.
The couple says they're glad their 2 young daughters weren't with them at the game. Rachel says she'll likely continue to volunteer with her church at the game, but won't be in the bleachers. Now officials from both school districts have meetings scheduled either tonight or tomorrow morning. Bryant plans on having counselors on hand in all schools to help kids cope with what happened last night.
There are still plenty of questions after chaos at the biggest high school football game in the state last night in Little Rock. More than 38,000 fans set an attendance record at the Salt Bowl last night. Officials from the state, local police, and the Benton and Bryant school districts are trying to figure out how a fight in the concourse and a person with a stun gun sent thousands of them scrambling. Our team coverage begins tonight with Michael Aaron live at the stadium where those officials tried to answer questions.
Well, David, we're hearing stories of terror and heroism some 24 hours after the chaos unfolded here at War Memorial Stadium. Now, park rangers, police, and sheriff's deputies are investigating this incident, and it's one that stadium officials are calling a misunderstanding of sound. A night of football takes a sudden turn toward chaos, as unfounded reports of an active shooter during the third quarter of Saturday's Salt Bowl sends the crowd of 38,000 into a panic.
Well, this is probably one of the scariest moments of my life.
I tried to calm down 2 or 3, kids that were terrified.
People were yelling, he's got a gun, there's a shooter.
This was a misunderstanding of sound. There were sounds that sounded like gunfire, but they weren't.
Meg Matthews, public information coordinator for Arkansas State Park, says during the third quarter, an altercation broke out in the concourse. At that point, park rangers say someone attending the game dry fired a stun gun. While no one was hit, they believe the sound may have been confused for gunshots, sending panic through the stadium.
As people were running out, they knocked over 3 metal barricades. Unfortunately, those metal barricades also had the sound of gunfire.
Amid the chaos, park rangers got a hold of the stun gun. The game ultimately called off. Authorities worked to reunite families separated during the stampede. Medics treated several people for leg and ankle injuries, along with heat exhaustion. While many agree this could have had a much different ending, stadium security is still being called into question, and Matthews says the state will review its procedures.
We did check people's bags last night. We did warn people if we found something in their pocket that was suspect. We found that our protocol was very successful last night.
We do not want what happened last night to overshadow all of the good that was going on yesterday. And I hope people will eventually remember the great time that they had.
While the future of the Benton Bryan game is now up to school administrators, Salt Bowl committee member Shane Broadway says game organizers are preparing for 2019.
Our first priority is to ensure that our fans and our players and the kids in the stands are safe.
Now, those involved in the initial incident still have not been identified. Investigators are reviewing surveillance video from within the stadium, and those people involved could face charges, we're told. Now, something else to note, this situation sparked a lot of rumors, a lot of misinformation on social media. Parks officials are encouraging people to stay in tune and just stay connected with the facts in this situation. We're live tonight at War Memorial Stadium. Michael Aaron, THV 11 News.